Straight ahead on CCX News, a home remodeling boom. We hear from one company in Maple Grove who hasn't seen this much demand in years. Plus, still not tapped out, the craft beer craze extends to a new local suburb. But first, a hard rain's gonna fall, and fall it did. Where we stack up in the record books during this already wet month. CCX News starts right now. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. Yards are certainly soaked from all this rain. In fact, from Tuesday night through Wednesday morning, more than 2 inches of rain fell in New Hope, adding to an already wet month of August. So where do we stack up historically? We get more from Eric Nelson.
We've had at least 11 days of rain in August, and it's only the 17th. So that's a significant amount of days with rain, definitely.
There has been plenty of liquid sunshine in the Northwest metro area this month.
And we've had multiple days where we've had over 1-inch rainfall days as well.
According to Hennepin County weather forecaster Sarah Carroll.
The rain gets collected in here, and there's a funnel. And then each time one of the buckets tip, it calculates how much rain has fallen.
Rain totals for August are already up to 4.5 inches after last night's storm, which is more than normal.
One thing that we are seeing more and more year after year is our average rainfall not necessarily increasing all that much, but we're receiving more rain on less days.
Because of the rain, there is emerald green grass and colorful flowers. But there is also a potential for flooding.
Some areas with stalled cars in the roadway. Your creeks are probably running quite a bit higher than normal.
The dog days of August feel more like cool and comfortable autumn afternoons. There are no heat waves in sight.
We are definitely cooler than normal by about 10-11 degrees. Our average high for this time of year is 80-81, so those low 80s.
Local farmers are happy about this above average rainfall. Their crops are getting plenty of water. And that's good news with harvest time on the horizon. I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
In Golden Valley, officials are warning motorists to avoid a busy section of Winnetka just south of 10th Avenue. They say a storm sewer collapsed and the southbound lanes of Winnetka in that area are closed until emergency repairs can be made. Instead of selling the house and moving, more homeowners are fixing. They're fueling a remodeling boom that's keeping local companies booked months in advance.
Before, this was really a very unfinished, open space, so they were able to start over and rethink how their family would use it.
In this Maple Grove home, an unfinished basement became a family room, complete with a bar, a countertop for eating, specialty lighting, and a huge television. Remodeler Sean Nelson says his company is adding workers to keep up with a remodeling demand that he says is the biggest in more than 10 years.
People are remodeling their kitchens, their bathrooms, they're finishing basements. Like in this project, it's, people are feeling good about the economy. The job market is going well, house values are going up, so it's a good time to invest. Interest rates are still low for those people looking for financing.
Nelson says they're so busy, if you want a project finished by Christmas, get on a remodeler's list right away. He says one factor is a shortage of homes for sale. Local suburbs continue to tap into the tap room boom. Golden Valley is the latest suburb to get a brewery. Under Pressure Brewing plans to move into a space near Highway 55 and Boone Avenue. The brewery hopes to open in December. It's been a long time for the owners. They've been planning this opening since Golden Valley passed its taproom ordinance in 2014. Under Pressure has also won medals for their beers at various competitions, including at the National Home Brewers Conference. They're also competing at this year's State Fair. A New Hope neighborhood is pushing the city to save a basketball hoop. This video shows the hoop at the home of Cooper football coach Willie Howard. There's one problem: it's in the city right-of-way, which is used for roads and public utilities. The city wants it taken down, but neighbors say the hoop has built community, and they're hoping to get a variance. If the city doesn't agree, the owner faces a possible fine if the hoop isn't taken down. Well, Super Bowl 52 is less than 6 months away, and Golden Valley is one of the cities that plans to capitalize on the big game. But as Delane Cleveland reports, groups that regularly meet at Brookview Park will have to make other arrangements in the days leading up to the NFL's big event.
On February 4th, all eyes will be on Minneapolis as U.S. Bank Stadium hosts Super Bowl 52. The shelves inside the Vikings team store are stocked with Super Bowl merchandise. But downtown Minneapolis won't be the only part of the Twin Cities cashing in on hosting the big game.
The timing's perfect. It sounds like our location is good. We're just a little out of Minneapolis, but our amenities, the property, our parking, you know, our prime location.
Rick Burno is Golden Valley's Parks and Rec Director. His office is housed in the Brookview Community Center, which is undergoing a 37,000 square foot remodeling project that will be complete this fall.
We're really excited about this facility. We think it's going to be a great facility.
2 months after the grand opening, they'll get to prove it. A marketing agency plans to rent out Brookview for up to 9 days during Super Bowl week. That includes event space, the patio, the decks, and the surrounding golf course.
First and foremost, it'll be fiscally very advantageous for us. Of course, with a large event like this, we will have premium rental rates. There'll be a whole lot of sales with our food services and our beverage sales.
Initial estimates show the city could generate at least $100,000 that week, but it comes with a catch.
In this case, they have asked that the entire facility be shut down, and they're willing to pay for that opportunity to shut it down.
That shutdown would last from January 31st through February 4th, meaning the seniors who have activities planned would have to make other arrangements. City staff reached out to the Golden Valley City Council this week to get the okay.
We did. They're very comfortable with it. They see this as a unique kind of one-time opportunity, and we should take advantage of it.
Whether the Vikings take advantage of the Super Bowl being in their home stadium is another question. In Minneapolis, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
The Golden Valley City staff members have begun drafting plans to notify anyone registered to use Brookview during Super Bowl week that their events will be canceled. In Robbinsdale, Oktoberfest will come a month early. Travail plans to host its version of Oktoberfest on Saturday, September 23rd. The popular restaurant plans to set up a tent in its parking lot, serving a variety of German beers, specialty sausages, and other kinds of food. Travail needed city approval because of limited parking at the restaurant. The restaurant is trying to make parking arrangements with the Hubbard Transit Station and EMI. Still ahead, we're off to Plymouth for a gardening lesson on geraniums. Plus, the Osseo football team is looking to bounce back after a tough 2016 season. We'll have a preview. But first, after the rain, we warm up slightly. The weekend will feel like summer again. A Plymouth woman really has a green thumb when it comes to growing geraniums. And reporter Sonia Goins goes in the garden to show us how she does it.
I just like the bright red.
Debbie Sefker didn't let townhome living stop her from growing geraniums.
We started out with probably only, maybe 15 plants.
She now has about 40 plants. She's been growing them for about 14 years.
This is the one that we don't like to move too often.
Debbie says there's no rhyme or reason to where she places the plants.
1 week you'll have just a sea of red, and the next week you'll be able to see all the little hummingbirds and whatever waiting to get to some food.
You'll find several varieties of geraniums in Debbie's yard, including this 3-inch miniature geranium.
This one even had a little tiny bud on it a little bit ago, so it won't get any bigger than this.
She says the lemon geranium is a must-have. It gives off a nice citrus scent, but also keeps mosquitoes away.
And they really do work. I just kept taking cuttings of it and making more plants.
The longtime Plymouth resident says growing geraniums is relatively easy. She mostly hits the expired blooms and waters when needed, but says if you want the plants to come back, you'll have to winterize them.
At the end of the season, you just quit watering them and don't cut them back. All the energy will go back into the plant itself.
Put the plants in unsealed paper bags or hang them upside down in a dry place.
You have to keep them in a heated area.
Debbie says tending to her geraniums is relaxing and therapeutic. She also likes sharing the giant geraniums with others.
Just smile.
In Plymouth, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Still ahead, how you can enjoy free outdoor theater. That's coming up. But first, local coaches, athletes, and officials are part of the State High School League's new Hall of Fame class. John Jacobson is in next.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. For the 22nd time since 1991, the Minnesota State High School League will induct new members into its Hall of Fame. The 2017 class includes 4 individuals with ties to our area. Among the 12 new inductees is Chrissy Wendell Pohl. Wendell graduated from Park Center in 2000 and in just 2 seasons of playing girls hockey scored 230 goals for the Pirates, helping lead them to the state championship in 2000. Bill Miles is another inductee, and like Chrissy, is also a member of the CCX Sports Hall of Fame. Miles coached Wayzata cross country for nearly 40 years, winning 8 state team titles. Larry Gallagher lives in Crystal. He's left his mark as a longtime official of high school athletics, mostly in baseball. At age 77, he continues to umpire and serves as the league's state baseball coordinator and rules interpreter. And finally, Darrell Thompson, who lives now in Plymouth, made his mark as a 3-sport athlete at Rochester John Marshall High School and was an outstanding running back at the University of Minnesota in the 1980s. The ceremony for this year's Hall of Fame class is scheduled for October 22nd in St. Paul. After capturing a state title in 2015, the Osseo football team dropped off last fall. They'll look for a bounce-back season this year. Here's Jay Wilcox with today's training camp report.
Osseo's players experienced the highs and lows the past 2 seasons. They won the state 6A title 2 years ago, but head coach Darren Lampker moved on to Edina. Last fall, with Ryan Stockhouse taking over and a mostly brand new team, the Orioles slumped to 2-7. Now as the 2017 season dawns, a year makes a lot of difference for getting on the same page.
Last year was a new beginning for the team, like new coaching staff, new everything. It was all right for that, but this year we're more ready. We got more involved with the team, more involved with the coaching staff.
To have an entire offseason with the team, to be in the building, to get to know who the guys are, and to take a really good examination at what went down last year and how we can fix and improve on things. It goes a long way to put systems in place.
One real good thing to come out of last year, a lot of returning athletes saw extensive varsity playing time as younger players.
Last year we were in a scenario where we only returned a handful of guys, if that had varsity minutes. So we were forced to play a lot of juniors last year. We were forced to play some sophomores last year, which puts us in a better situation this year, obviously, to have guys that know that game speed.
The defense has good experience and skill. And Anthony Williams, linebacker Adam Lanners, and defensive backs Adam Plumhoff and Johnson Falla are among the guys to watch.
Well, on defense, we have a lot of guys that are super athletic and can play a lot of positions. We're looking pretty good out there. I'm super proud about that because we're putting a lot of work this summer.
On offense, quarterback Greg Arell returns and has a good receiving core with some size. Left tackle Brent Takouts leads the O-line.
We've gotten bigger, we've gotten faster, we got some good athletes. Last year we had a hard time running the football. I think that's going to be a strong point for us this year.
Osseo, which moves down to Class 5A for the playoffs this season, opens with a tough one against rival Maple Grove.
Well, I'm super excited for that. Plymouth Grove is always fun, especially last year. We didn't come out how we wanted by losing. Hopefully this year we can change that and come up with a W.
We'll find out early if Osseo has a shot to bounce back from last season. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
Here's a look at the Orioles. 4 starters return on offense and 7 are back on defense. The Orioles get that early test against rival Maple Grove on August 31st. The game we'll have live for you here on CCX. Time for this week's CCX Sports Fishing Tip. Today, Terry Tuma talks about the best uses for braided fishing line.
Had question asked about using braid. Should we use a leader? And that question and answer is definitely yes. And the reason we're going to be using braid is, for instance, if you're fishing deeper water and you need to pull bass, for instance, out of heavy cover, weeds and so forth, trees, wood, anything like that. And the reason being, we want to use a leader is one, because of the visibility factor, the sensitivity factor. Generally speaking, I'll use fluorocarbon, but we do have a choice of using mono, and mono, as we all know, does stretch. It doesn't sink as rapidly as fluorocarbon, and fluorocarbon has a minimum of a stretch factor, especially under pressure, and you can attach that to your braided line with either a swivel, which I prefer though to use a knot, which we can research, website wise or whatever, or library, and to use the best knot that's going to be applicable. It does work very well, but make sure you do use a leader with braided line.
And that's it for sports. Back to you, Mike.
All right, John, thanks. Up next, a fun way to enjoy a beautiful summer night. We'll preview outdoor theater coming to the Hilde next. Finally, the Plymouth Arts Council is bringing something different to the Hilde Center next week. This coming Tuesday night, you can enjoy free outdoor theater. Neil Persley has more.
Dear Melissa, remember me, Andy Ladd?
I can't write letters. It took me hours just to write Dear Andy.
What's amazing about this as a reader's theater production is it both is a reading and it's also the full production. This is exactly what you see is what you get.
And what you'll get is two very talented actors in Gary Briggle and Wendy Lair doing a piece of reader's theater entitled Love Letters by A.R. Gurney.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Love, Andy Ladd.
Dear Andy, Mummy brought your letter up here to Lake Placid. She thought it was cute. I thought it was dumb.
It's two actors sitting side by side reading letters that they've written to each other over the years from about the 3rd grade until the end of life, pretty much.
You'll watch the characters grow up by listening to their letters.
I like writing letters. I like writing you.
Thanks for your letter, which was a little too long.
It's theater of the mind, and all you have to do is close your eyes and listen to the story.
I like how our intimacy flows into the intimacy of these characters.
Gary and Wendy have been together 34 years.
As far as our intimacy, we began our relationship by writing.
They're an excellent choice cast in the roles of Andy and Melissa.
My father says everyone should write letters as much as they can. It's a dying art.
I'm writing this letter because I'm scared if I called you up, I'd start crying right on the telephone.
Bring a lawn chair or blanket and relax at the Second Stage Amphitheater at the Hilde Performance Center.
And it's almost like a radio show and it's intimacy, but you still have that sense of theater community. You have people showing up. The night we're going to have a food truck, we're going to have live music before. It's going to be a beautiful August night in Minnesota.
In Plymouth, Neil Persley, CCX News.
Pre-show music begins at 6:15 and the performance starts at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. That's it for now. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone, and we will see you back here again Friday, starting at 4.